Haske Tv. My name is Farida Haq with the bulletin, and now the news in details. Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Sector 3 Operation Real Stroke have rescued a kidnapped victims Alhaji Ali Adamu during a sweep operation in the local government area of Taraba State. According to a statement signed by the Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Muhammad Umar, the rescue was carried out on Wednesday under Operation Lafia Nokowa following a distress call reporting the abduction of Alhaji Adamu, who was taken from his residence while sleeping outside the compound. According to the statement, troops immediately mobilized and pursued the kidnappers. It noted that on sensing the advancing soldiers, the abductors abandoned the victims in a nearby bush and fled, while security operatives later reunited Alhaji Adamu with his family without ransom payment. In a relevant development, local vigilantes and hunters on early morning patrol in Marabankunini apprehended a 30-year-old suspected kidnapper identified as Mr. Lalo Adamu, believed to be linked to the abduction. The suspect, who reportedly sustained injuries from mob action, was rescued by troops and taken to a hospital for medical treatment while investigation is ongoing, the statement added. Commandant 6th Brigade Sector 3 OPWS, Brigadier General Kingsley Chidebere Uwa, commended the troops and local security operatives for their swift coordination, urging residents to provide timely and credible intelligence to support ongoing effort to maintain peace and security in the state. The Army reaffirmed its commitment to protecting lives and property and ridding Taraba surrounding areas of criminal element. President Bola Tinubu has approved the introduction of 15% ad valorem import duty on petrol and diesel import into Nigeria. The initiative is aimed at protecting local refineries and stability the downstream market, but it is likely to raise pump prices. This is contained in a statement dated October 21, 2025, reportedly publicized on October 30, 2025, and addressed to the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. Tinubu directed immediate implementations of the tariff as part of what the government described as a market-responsive import tariff framework. The latter, signed by his private secretary, Damilaton Odidermi, and obtained by our correspondent on Wednesday, conveyed that the President's approval following a proposal by the Executive Chairman of the FIRS, Zak Adedeji. The proposal sought the application of a 15% duty on the cost, insurance and freight value of imported petrol and diesel to align import costs with domestic market realities. Adedeji, in his memo to the President, explained that the measure was part of ongoing reforms to boost local refining, ensure price stability, and strengthen the Naira-based oil economy in line with the administration's renewed hope agenda for energy security and fiscal sustainability. The FIRS boss also warned that the current misalignment between local refined product and import parity pricing has created instability in the market. He noted that the import parity pricing, the market's benchmark for determining pump prices, often falls below cost recovery levels for level producers, particularly during foreign exchange and freight fluctuations, putting pressure on emerging domestic refineries. The policy comes as Nigeria intensifies efforts to reduce dependence on imported petroleum products and ramp on domestic refining. The 650 barrels per day Dangote refinery in Lagos has commenced diesel and aviation fuel production, while Madula refineries in Edo, Rivers and Imo State have started small-scale petrol refining. However, despite these gains, petrol imports still account for up to 667% of national demand. The presidency has released a fresh list of inmates granted presidential clemency. Bayo Ananuga, presidential spokesperson, released the fresh list on Wednesday. Daily Trust report that many names were struck off the list. Earlier in the month, Onanuga had announced that the president pardoned some persons. However, the names of some convicts who were on death sentence, life imprisonment for murder, drug trafficking, indigo mining, among others, has triggered outrage. Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, National Publicity Secretary of the Opposition African Democratic Congress, had described the move as an abuse of the presidential power of mercy, adding that it is a national disgrace. In a statement on Wednesday, Onanuga announced that some names had been dropped. Following consultations with the Council of State and public opinion on the matter, the President directed a further review of the initially approved list for the consideration in furtherance of the President's discrimination powers under Section 117 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Vice President Kashim Shettima has urged the Arewa Consultative Forum (ACF) to reject attempt of mischief makers to sow division in Nigeria, calling on northern leaders to unite behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Speaking while receiving a delegation from the ACF led by its Board of Trustees, Chairman Alhaji Bashir Al-Hatu, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Wednesday, Shettima said it was time for northern leaders to stand together in support of the administration's effort to steer the nation out of economic and social difficulties. He warned that decisive elements were exploiting religious and ethnic sentiment to fragment the country, urging the ACF to resist such manipulation. Shettima explained that while some allegations stem from legislative grievance seeking fairness, others are driven by greed and desire to exploit chaos. He said the Tinubu administration was committed to identifying genuine calls for justice and inclusion while isolating those seeking to profit from disorder. Reaffirming the government's commitment to inclusivity, Shettima said every group, every faith, and every voice has a place in the national conversation. He reminded the northern elders that they remain key stakeholders in the Tinubu administration and assured them to continue partnership to advance the region's development. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has said it secured the conviction of 9,263 drug offenders out of the 45,853 suspects arrested across the country within the last 30 months. The agency also said it seized over 8.5 million kilograms of various illicit drugs and multiple operations carried out by its personnel within the same month. The spokesperson for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday, noting that the chairman and chief executive officer of the agency, Muhammad Buba Marwa, revealed that statistics while presenting commendation letters to 220 personnel for outstanding performance. According to the statement, the arrest, seizure, and prosecutions have contributed significantly to reducing the demand and supply of illicit drugs in the country. The Adamawa State University ATSU Mobi has announced plans for its 15th, 16th, and 17th combined convocation ceremonies scheduled for the end of October 2025. This will be a significant inaugural event for the new Vice Chancellor, Professor Augustine Clement, who will be presiding over the festivity shortly after assuming office. According to an itinerary released by the university's management, the celebrations will commence on Friday, October 31st, 2025, with a World Press Conference at 10 o'clock a.m. The day's event will include the commissioning of several new projects at 11 o'clock a.m., followed by a convocation lecture at 3 o'clock p.m. The activities for the day will conclude with the Chancellor's Night at 7 o'clock p.m. The schedule of Saturday, November 1st, 2025 include a final round of project commissioning at 9 o'clock a.m. The main event, the Grand Convocation Ceremony, will begin at 10 o'clock a.m. at the university's convocation ground. The university anticipates a distinguished gathering with attendees expected to include leaders from the academic community as well as political and traditional figures from across Adamawa State and Nigeria. That has been the news. My name is Farida Haq. Do stay tuned for the version of the programs. From me is a goodbye.